So good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for the wonderful opportunity, and it's been a privilege to be here. And basically, with the think tanks of India with nutrition, it's just absolute pressure. And probably I would have loved to be in the part of the discussion, what we had, and the answer for most of the thing, I personally think would be precision nutrition. That is the way forward. Probably like each dress, each person would like or would need a precision nutrition, and that's the way world is moving, because your sleep pattern, my sleep pattern, and your workforce, or the stress, or a periods, or the hormonal issues, and quite a lot of other factors won't be the same for the other individuals. So whatever you're giving one idli to one person would not have the same response metabolically or hormonally, with the same impact on the other guy, and same with the salt and the content of everything, basically. So the world is moving towards precision nutrition, and AI is helping to create something digitally like a twin, and then find towards that. So my job is to convince you just there is a role of meal replacement. For example, in the fight of obesity, and we had all the speakers talking about it, just in the role of meal replacement, I will take a few minutes on the concept of diabesity, and that we all know, and we had a lot of discussion about it. So the concept of diabesity, what is the goal, and what are the things what we are fighting for, and what are the weapons we got, and one of the weapons would be a meal replacement, and how to go about it. That's my job in next 10 minutes or so. So rapid rise, we know that, and we discussed it. High visceral fat in South Indians, South Asians, for example, is caused all the challenges with brown fat, and early onset of diabetes in Indians. We discussed that we are becoming metabolic, or the diabetes capital of the world, surpassing China. Now we have to make diabetes care capital of the world, and that's our job. And increased complication too early with macro and microvascular disease, and nutrition remains a huge this thing. And we know that 40% of the Indian population is shockingly obese, and for us the obesity description is quite different from other Caucasians. India is rapidly transforming into underweight and overweight, and we had a discussion about it with the rural and urban population, and then about the cardiovascular disease. So we got the second highest number of cardiovascular disease that is really disturbing in a way with the country developing. We should try and attack in all the areas. My view is it stood short from the school, for example, and the woman has got with abdominal obesity in quite high range. The strength between obesity and diabetes with the increases with the age. So we really need to target that, to target the obesity. The concept of diabesity came with pandemic of obesity, not necessarily true always, because we can have a thin Indians with a flat tummy, or a thin Bangladeshi guy when I worked in eastern part of London. So this, like, they will have a severe diabetes which you can't control, not necessarily a type 1.5 diabetes or anything. It may be a type 2 which is behaving badly with severe insulin resistance, with the diabetes development, with the obesity for Asians, and it is becoming a huge challenge with the fat making the insulin resistance to go all over the place, and also the inflammatory cytokines and other things which make the artery to be much more unhealthy. So we got a refined carbohydrate and saturated fats, and we got low fiber intake, and that's a challenge, and we try to make it hard to improve it, but it will be the other food like Western foods and other things. People think that is a enjoyment and go and indulge in that, and that makes it so hard. Even if you try 1 or 2 meals a day to be much easier, much more healthier, I should say, and then go into one meal, that goes very, very badly. And then the major comorbidities wise, we know that MASH and MAFLD and OSA is another challenge with Indians. The diagnosis of OSA is very, very less because we think that snoring in the initial part becomes fun, and people take movie out of it, but don't take any action out of it. I think then it becomes a disease, and then you don't get into polycythemia, cardiac failure, or anything relating to that. Then people notice and put a mask in, and sometimes they remove the mask. So OSA is a huge challenge which goes undiagnosed, and then sometimes it is being treated not properly. So the chronic kidney disease and PCOS are absolutely an underdiagnosed condition, and people still go for a ultrasound scan to diagnose this condition, which is not at all needed. It is a misnomer, I would say, as a PCOS, nothing to do with this thing. It is almost like a pre-diabetic metabolic condition. That's the phrase that we should be using it. It's an insulin resistant, and which will eventually lead to a hormonal disorder. So moderate weight loss of 5 to 10% will even do a huge difference in terms of diabetes and NAFL and the whole lot of PCOS and depression. The whole lot can improve even with 5%. Just forget about the 15% that will lead to almost diabetes remission, I would say. And I'll show you some data about it with the DIRECT trial, which is the landmark trial that made a huge difference. So what are the treatment approaches? I mentioned earlier, what are the weapons that we got for this obesity and diabesity management. We got lifestyle as the first line, and which is the key, and which is the LCDs and VLCDs, which people may not be able to sustain for a very long duration, and that's the only challenge. But there comes the precision nutrition. So medical nutrition therapy, which is a structured meal plan, that is my talk about, and the pharmacotherapy and metabolic and bariatric surgery, which doctor mentioned about the pharmacotherapy aspects, and then the treatment for the severe group of people with the, and then the MDT, which is the team job that we all have to do with the endocrinologist, psychologist, and the key people, which is the dietitian. So there are a lot of challenges with the pharmacotherapies. It's very expensive for this thing until April. Then there's new Indian companies are coming with all this Mounjaro, sorry, not Mounjaro, but semaglutide, at least in a generic form, which will make the cost to be very less. But SGLT2s available now in the market. But any drug that you got in the market, we have to know the pros and cons of the drug before even consider using it, because there are a lot of challenges of urinary tract infection, genital infection, sarcopenia, which is the huge challenge. I'll come to that. So hypoglycemia is one of the things which a lot of other drugs have got, not the new GLP-1s and other things. So skin reactions and pancreatitis, which is not a huge challenge, but it's something to think about. So what I would do is just think for the understand the current practices, what is available. So you sit with the patient, dietary recalls, macro and micronutrients, intake of the patient. You sit with the patient and just find out, and then the patient-centric advice of advising them on the macronutrients with the high protein intake and low carb intake, and then the mobile health apps, which we discussed about with the AI solutions, and then the nutrigenetics, and maintain the food as a diary or an electronic record, which may or may not happen, but I think that's what we should aim about. And then the travel and celebration should be considered, which comes almost in 365 days. We'll have celebrations of birthday and wedding days, and all the festivals comes in. It makes almost 120 days, maybe more. So the goals for the obesity, we have to have a short-term goal and the long-term goal. Short-term goal is to reduce the body weight to 5 to 10%, and then the long-term one is, as I mentioned, about the goal for A1C reduction, and also LDL and then HDL improvement, which eventually will lead to cardiovascular health. So the gaps in the current this thing, what are the gaps that is there? Calorie awareness is low. You and me face every single day. I think you ask them to take less carbs and high protein diet, and the structured diet plan is not there for. This is where, again, sorry, I'm blowing the same whistle, precision nutrition comes in. So needs evidence-based practice for a practical approach. There's so many diets are available. You go for paleo or intermittent fasting, I don't know, inflammatory diet or whatever. So the meal replacement is one of the key areas, which consists of almost 200 to 300 calories. Most of vitamins are all there, and then variety of products. And it's not the simple or easy way to do it, but it's one of the ways that we can practically suggest people, and it's highly satiating effect, and then avoid contacts with problem food and triggering effect just to go for a defense or a hedonic eating. So accumulating evidence suggests the meal replacement has got a good evidence in that. So LCD and VLCD we discussed early. So almost like 1200 to 1500 is a calorie restricted, and low calorie is almost less than 1200, and less than 800, which is almost impossible to maintain, will be a 800 calorie diet. And the dietary intervention and utilizing the meal results in quite a lot of good things, isn't it? So we got a greater weight loss and nutrients, and this is shown in a meta-analysis for the patients. What are the clinical evidence? I'll go with the three in view of time. So this is the trial I was mentioning about, the DIRECT trial, which is the lean, and Naveed Sattar from Glasgow which happened to be one of the centers, and then it is a RCT, which is a huge thing, and how they did it, it is really only miracle, because 20 to 65 years of diagnosis, and then past 6 years with BMI of 27 to 45, withdraw all the anti-diabetic medicine, put them on diet replacement like veterans program of VADT, just with the diet replacement, and then stopped reintroduction of step to feed reintroduction, and then support with the long-term weight loss. So participants received best practices. They all got the access to trainers and gyms and other things. So you can see the results, outcomes are very, very good. With the control group, almost 12 months weight loss of 15 kilos are happened in more proportion of people, which is a huge, this thing, 15%. And then the remission of diabetes happens in high proportion of, it's a no-brainer when you have 15% weight loss with a remission of diabetes, which is a huge thing, and which can happen with Madam, we were talking about with the AI, that AI with the precision nutrition, the remission happens now. A lot of centers in US, the insurance companies and all the big areas like Blackstone and I don't know, Kaiser, even Walmart, all are going for patient or their employees to go into precision nutrition thing through AI technology to eat the food what they need to eat, and then they get the reversal of the condition of obesity and diabetes, and that's the way the insurance companies are going, and it will come to India eventually. This is the evidence too with the total meal replacement. This is done in US with multiple centers. You can see the OptiFast has been given, and you can see the nutrition therapy with the nutrition plan compared to the food-based diet. There is a huge decrease in the fat mass and also the relative weight change. So weight is decreased and the fat cell mass goes out. But the skeletal muscle has to come out. The investment for the future for all of us will be in the muscle. So muscle is the best investment we all have to do personally and also for the patient. So no point in getting the nutrition alone. It will give only bloating. I think you have to get with a lot of muscles. So the low-calorie diet, this is done in Germany, and it's a non-surgical obesity program, and it reduces the weight and also the prevalence of metabolic syndrome, which is very, very good in terms of giving some nutrition and getting the results what we need. So that brings the GLP-1, which is the one of the therapies that is Sir was mentioning about Mounjaro, but Wegovy and Ozempic, which will be launched in 1 or 2 weeks' time. But the GLP-1, it works in the satiety center, and you're having a talk. Rajesh is speaking later in the day. But I think it is one of the drugs that makes sense, and I used the drug for almost 22 years when the exenatide and liraglutide days of the drug. It has been there for a very long time. But it's like having an ambassador car moving into BMW. It is just to evolutionize, and it's a long-acting version, and they're working really very well in terms of not causing glucose-dependent working, and then it works in the satiety center, and it does the precision work of getting the weight down. So nausea and other things will be there, but I think you have to do a psychotherapy for the people who go into that, not psychotherapy, but at least psychological counseling, just to get into the drug. I normally say that if you have vomiting for 1 or 2 weeks, it means that the drug is working very well. So then I think it overcomes that, and then lean body mass, this is sarcopenia, that's what I was mentioned earlier. Sarcopenia is the huge challenge with all these drugs. I mean, I got a lady who lost 43 kilos and just she looks very ill. Now, I think this is what it is. So now I stopped giving the drug from my side because it doesn't make any sense. You just make somebody ill to make look better. I mean, the muscle has to come, and that is where the education has to go along with the nutrition. So meal replacement is one of the ways that players can come in with a digital thing, whether they got AI-based or not, whether digital, just app-based group can help. So meal replacement for the GLP-1 also is an area where the science is improving. It makes sense because we need a protein and other things just to go into that, and then satiety has to go in to augment the effect of GLP. So the key takeaways is that India is the fastest growing in obesity, and rapid changes in the food habits make it much worse. And then with the diabesity fight, we got one of the weapons is the multi-nutrition therapy and nutrition pharmacotherapy is going to be there. Even with the pharmacotherapy, MNT has got a role. Thank you so much. Yeah. Well, I think.
Thank you.
Well, I'm not in charge, but I can answer.
Thank you being an endocrinologist.
Yes, sir.
And making this presentation.
Thank you.
So what you are compensating, there was a study on this in the Western world.
Yeah.
So what you are saying is a substitute for the obesity drugs? Because see, you said nausea. Why I'm asking you this? There was a meal replacement therapy, very famous.
Yeah.
A lot of people made a lot of money out
Yeah.
of it. So it led to a lot of side effects, including kidney, liver, osteoarthritis, calcium deficiencies. So how do you practically make use of this? Is in a combination with diabetes drugs, without GLP-1, GIP drugs? So a little bit on that.
So your question, if I understand correctly, is how do you just forget about GLP and GIP drugs?
Yes, how do you go about
use
using
it in our diabetic patients with MNT, correct?
And do you use it, do you really require then GIP and GLP with them? Because they have their own problems. Please be clear. Abhi bhi recently ET mein bhi tha, there is a big problem
so
with the eye vision.
it looks like the question is about whether you use GLP or not.
No.
This
with the GIP drugs, which are the heavily marketed.
Audio.
Will this alone do the function?
So the GLP and GIP on its own, it's really, I would say, the word, if I use, rubbish drug to use. So, because if you can't use the full benefit of the drug, it won't be useful at all. It's my view, because you can use as a glucocentric drug. It's an excellent anti-hyperglycemic drug.
Exactly.
But that is not the reason that we are using. We can use 1 rupees metformin for that. But that is not the reason we are using. We want buy one, get 4 free. We are Indians. We want 4 things at the same time. We want this thing, we want a fat loss, we want the weight to come down, the cholesterol to come down, and stroke benefit has to be there. So that is the reason we are using the drug. So when we use it properly, there will be a sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is a new science that is evolving, and you and me will be seeing in next 5 years when the generic drugs of India comes in, with lot of Indians going into sarcopenia, which is a disaster.
30% muscle loss, sir.
Yes. It is a disaster. So we got all these people in the room has got a maximum role. I don't know how much you've done so far in life, but the maximum thing will come in after April, when these drugs are, even now Monjaro has touched almost 750 crores and will go into 1,000 crores soon. But the market after this thing will be, we all got an important role to play with muscle. I would say, firstly, primarily, it will be the muscle is the best investment. We all have to do, then comes the nutrition, or you can do both together. But our roles are going to be huge after the GLP. Thanks for that question, sir.
Now the problem with medical nutrition therapy, one of the best things to do, it has brought diabetes remission also.
Correct.
With low calorie
Correct.
diet in the West.
Correct.
But nobody promotes it, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I think...
One minute. So the problem with this medical nutrition therapy, especially if it is
done properly,
meal-based replacement.
Yeah.
आपको खाने का मजा नहीं आता सर.
Correct.
आपको कोई दाल नहीं दिखती, चावल नहीं दिखता, एक वो पाउडर को आप पानी में घोल के पीते हो.
Correct, sir.
That fiber is not there.
Yes.
So that is to be done in a very supervised, regulated manner with a proper, competent person.
Even that, the nutrition, the preparation of these drugs has to be extremely carefully done. It can't be just somebody comes in with a 1,000 rupees product immediately. It has to be done specifically in different ways. The quality control has to be ensured, and the sweetness has to be ensured properly.